How much money, like ballpark, have you spent on Counter-Strike gambling?
About $5,400.
Okay.
Oh. Gambling ruined my life.
Tonight on 60 Minutes, we'll be discussing the prominence of gambling in video games, how big companies intentionally target vulnerable children for profit, and the long-term effects of poor spending habits. I'm sure we'll face some backlash from our report. However, the people deserve to know how to defend themselves.
I'm PJ Paterno.
I'm Mason Callahan.
I'm Sammy Johnson. These stories and more tonight on 60 Minutes.
Our reporters scoured the world for rare cases of children that have developed early signs of gambling addiction through video games. In the small town of Hershey, PA, we found one such example.
BJ, why did you charge my credit card for $300 on Brawl Stars?
I had to get that new Brawl Pass, Mom, and it was totally worth
Your
it.
father worked very hard for that money. You can't do that.
Well, who's gonna stop me?
I'll show you,
Ah, Mom! Ah! Stop it! Stop! Mom!
Is this child merely a victim to the irresistible temptations that video games offer? We aim to prove that video games developers intentionally desensitize children to microtransactions in hopes that future gambling habits will follow. Let's take a look at the seemingly humble origins of the monetization of video games. There has been a major shift in how games are marketed. Initial costs are lowered, with the current focus being on in-app purchases for revenue. Low initial investment encourages a large number of players that are then hooked into the appeal of the game and willing to spend large sums of money to increase their gameplay. This exponential growth model allows for a limitless stream of cash due to the natural greed of gamers wanting as much power and fame as possible. Children have a much lower threshold for temptation and therefore are an easy target for many games. The sounds, haptic feedback, and bright colors of Brawl Stars are designed to maintain long-term engagement with young players and make rewards seem as real as possible. One of the most effective ways Brawl Stars and many other games keep attention is the trophy system. They essentially represent your skill level on various characters within the game. Winning trophies produces a joyful sensation, especially while building a win streak. Losing, however, is meant to target the ego of the child, as if they are now worth less because their representation of ability within Brawl Stars has decreased. After a loss, many are prompted to play another game to win the trophies back again. However, Brawl Stars intentionally swings the odds out of your favor to continue your losing streak, while rage and frustration build. This perfect storm of desperately trying to win back trophies, defeat animations mocking your loss, and the feelings that you still have a chance to win, largely mirror strategies found in modern casinos. Everyone wants to end on a win, and Brawl Stars knows it. In order to improve your chances of winning, or at least your enjoyment of the game, Brawl Stars offers thousands of sales weekly on items, skins, and gems. Flashing sale signs, attention-grabbing animations, and the idea of exclusivity hijack the minds of unassuming children. By falling into the competitive trap Brawl Stars creates, children are slowly desensitized to the manipulative tactics being used on them within the game. While they may feel they're in control of what they spend their money on, in reality, many are just simply unaware victims. When these kids move mindlessly toward other games as a source of entertainment, the same habits follow.
Now that we've seen how it starts, let's look at how these bad habits have progressed.
Tight holo, tight holo, tight holo, tight holo, tight holo, tight. Oh my God!
CSGO began as a humble first-person shooter, that is, until it turned into a multi-million-dollar gambling operation. Many FPS games pride themselves on their ability to create a realistic combat simulation. Of these, CSGO stands at the top of the pile. By tapping into the innate human response to death and fear, CSGO has developed a hyper-immersive game that consumes the lives of thousands. The overall goal of the game is to defend a bomb site from a potential terrorist attack as a counter-terrorist, or detonate the bomb when playing on the terrorist team. While this may seem like a mere game of cat and mouse, the beauty of CSGO lies in its simplicity. However, like in any situation, gamers have a desire to accentuate themselves from the rest. In a game where everyone plays as the same operator with the same weapons, the only way to stand out is through the purchase of weapon skins. To get said skins, players can either gamble real money on weapons cases or buy the skins from a previous lucky winner. Although CSGO denies encouraging gambling and claims to have set limits on how much players can spend, the developers know that the income potential is endless. By intentionally rigging the odds of getting a desirable skin, nearly every gambler will walk away with far less value than their initial investment. On social media, we are fed clips of famous streamers' best pulls. However, their luck is the result of spending thousands of dollars just for one lucky opening. The exclusivity of high-value CSGO skins in the global market on which to sell them has inflated the prices astronomically. Although the skins are purely cosmetic, a skin known as a case-hardened blue gem on the Karambit knife was valued at over $1.5 million. It's important to keep in mind the millions more dollars spent by gamers who were led to falsely believe that they had a realistic chance of pulling something similar. CSGO profits off delusion and will gladly continue stoking the fire of illegal gambling sites to boost the prominence of their skins as a form of currency. Even if you were to be extremely lucky and magically win something of value, CSGO will always win in the end.
To see what gambling in CSGO was really like, we conducted our own tests. The results were shocking.
For our experiment, we put in $40 to see how bad these odds actually are. In today's CSGO economy, that got us around 10 cases from the market with the keys to open them. From our spendings, we clearly saw just how rigged the system truly is. You would think that by spending $40 you would make at least something back, right? False. In total, we only made back $3.57, meaning we lost a whopping $36.43. Per case, $4 were spent, yet only 35 cents worth of skins came out on average. This displays the terrible odds firsthand that CSGO boasts.
Finally, let's look at some of the long-term effects the victims of gambling face due to the greed of major developers.
Our reporter spoke with 8th grader Ben Lee on his personal experience with gambling. Introduce yourself. Who am I here with?
My name is Ben Lee. I'm an 8th grader from Derby, Kansas.
How old were you when you first began playing Counter-Strike?
I was around, 9 years old. Yeah, I was 9 years old when I got CS:GO and started playing.
Have you ever opened a case in CS:GO?
Yes, I have actually. I've just seen a lot of YouTube videos about case unboxings and how there's so many knives and I wanted to get a knife too, so I tried it out a few times.
Did you feel satisfied after you opened the case? Did you feel you got what you wanted from it?
I never ended up getting that knife. In fact, I never ever ended up getting anything valuable at all. Mm-hmm. So I kind of just sat there. I felt very empty after opening those cases.
Is there anything you would like to say to children of the future who are struck with this gambling crisis?
Please don't expose yourself to gambling. I ended up spending $50 on it and got beat violently by my parents. So, don't do it, kids.
For more perspectives, we had our top interviewer, PJ Paterno, interview some high schoolers to see what their personal experiences were like.
I'm here with Aiden Watson, a senior at McDevitt High School. He plays lacrosse, and we're going to be asking some questions about underage gambling in Counter-Strike. All right, Mr. Watson, my first question to you is, how much money, like ballpark, have you spent on Counter-Strike gambling?
About $5,400.
Okay.
No more than 300, 400, 500 absolute tops.
Well, like 500.
500? And that's over the course of how much time?
About 6 years.
Have you noticed any change in emotion or urges to continue opening Counter-Strike cases?
Yeah, a little. Once you hit that big win, you're always chasing it, I feel like. But I know when to stop.
No.
Not at all?
No.
Do you think peer pressure has played a role in your gambling within Counter-Strike?
I don't think peer pressure necessarily. I think I definitely peer pressure others into gambling because I want them
absolutely.
I want them to hit that big win as well, to feel get the rush. But I feel like it started with YouTube videos, seeing other people hit, and wow, that looks awesome. Let me gamble too.
Maybe like a fraction, like 10% of it, but not all of it.
By myself, I can manage myself. When Aiden Watson is around, I can say I get it, he convinces a lot.
Yeah.
He's like convincing.
Okay, my fourth and final question. Is it troubling to you that gambling within the game is not regulated or age restricted?
Yeah, I think it can definitely lead to a problem with younger people who can't control themselves.
Yeah, not like you.
No, $5,400 isn't that much.
Yeah, you're fine.
But yeah, definitely. I feel like there's nothing either to stop. Like, there's no limits. There's nothing either. Like, it's kind of more, especially with like the way Counter-Strike's like made to get with skins.
Yeah.
Like, you're more you're tempted to do it because you're like, oh, cool, I want cool stuff, so let me gamble. You know, it's not even labeled as gambling. It's like case opening. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it definitely should be. It definitely should be.
Like, I think it's okay. They have it included in the game with the proper warnings in place, I guess you could say.
You think their warnings are sufficient?
No, definitely not. Definitely
Yeah, you and me
not.
both. What do you think the appeal is of Counter-Strike skins? Like, could you go into a little bit of detail about how having skins affects people's mentality?
I don't think it's necessarily the skin. Well, I think it's more of a flex.
Yeah,
like, obviously,
exactly.
you want to have nicer stuff, so you're gonna put more money in to hopefully pull that nicer stuff. I think it's that, and then I also think, obviously, like the money, like, because it's worth real money too.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, like, you're like, well, this is cool. I get to have it in game and flex, and it's worth real money.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Based on our thorough interviews and research, we can confirm our hypothesis that video games do indeed desensitize microtransactions to children, even going as far as exposing them to very realistic gambling environments. By staying informed and being aware of the strategies used by developers, you can avoid big losses and regretful purchases.
To conclude, gambling in video games has revolutionized the platform. By staying informed on the strategies developers use, we can all learn to spend responsibly. This has been 60 Minutes. I'm Mason Callahan. Good night.